What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be working on the jet boat again. If you look over there, you can see I've actually got the jet nozzle that my used jet nozzle, and I'm going to go through, we're going to assemble that, and we're going to go through and put it on the boat. All right, so we got my broken nozzle off and everything disassembled off of it. You can see where that thing broke. And if you look on this rudder, you can actually see where it hit that rock. So I'm kind of surprisingly thin there. There's not a lot there, so it didn't take much to break that sucker off. But I got all the parts off of it. Everything came off real nice. So I've got this replacement one, and as you can see, this was not me. Somebody before me broke off. Well, you can't see it on that side. Somebody before me broke off the bolts that go into this pivot point. So these won't come out. So we're going to get a little red nut because I want to use that reverse bucket on this nozzle because this one's just beat up, and if I ever have to work on it or take it apart, I'd like to be able to pull everything apart. So we're going to take a Sawzall and cut through this. I think we're getting somewhere. I think we are. All right, as you can see, we are finally through, and I should be able to just, take that. Ta-da. Cool. Now I should be able to just lift this other side. Whoop, off. Oh, yeah. All right, so now I've got a non-broken nozzle. I'm going to paint this thing up before I throw her on there. But, yeah, buddy. Okay, so I got this nozzle kind of scuffed up a little bit and kind of wiped down. And we're just going to hit this thing with a little bit of Napa trim black because that's what I have lying around. And at least then it will hopefully somewhat match what's over there. I'll give it a shot. That wind is not doing me any favors today. All right, we got a little coat of paint on this nozzle. Looking way better than it did before. So I think it's even going to dry at a kind of a similar finish to what's on there. So yeah, should be all right. Okay, guys, don't mind the mess. I'm in the middle of another project here. I'm putting a clutch in this Ford Ranger for a friend of the family's, and anywho, I've got stuff everywhere. But got this nozzle all painted up, got my parts swapped over. I've got the reverse bucket on there, I've got the steering arm on there, I've got the rudder on there, and should be all good to go now. Should be able to put it on. I was going to go out and do it, but as you can see, it's kind of crappy and rainy, so probably do that tomorrow when I get a minute if it's a little bit nicer out. But yeah, we got everything good to go here. All right, guys. So here you can see I've got this jet nozzle that I got and took all the linkage and the reverse bucket and the rudder off of my other one, painted this up, and we're all set to put it back on. So I've got the rest of the parts here, and let's get to it. Right. We're going to try take two of this because I quickly found you cannot put this on with the rudder in place because it interferes with this bottom pin that goes in. There's a bushing that goes in there. So we're going to try this again. All right, so I've had issues with these little plastic bushings that go where the pivot point is in here with falling out. So what I've done to help keep those from falling off is I just take a little bit of Vaseline here, petroleum jelly, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to put a little bit right inside here just to give it just a little bit of grip. It's not going to hurt anything. And after this gets in the water, they just get lubricated by the water. But just going to put it in there, and then, you know, if you tip it upside down, they don't fall out. So let's go ahead and throw this nozzle on. Okay, so we've got these 6 bolts on top of the trim cap here. you can actually, there's a set screw here you can loosen up, and then there's a threaded rod in here, and you can actually adjust the trim up or down to your liking or whatever your needs are. I didn't play with it. I figured whoever had it before probably had it set pretty close, and then if I need to play with it, you know, it's not that difficult to do. Unfortunately, with the Jacuzzi YJ, there's no place diverter or anything like that available, so I'm not going to be able to adjust it on the fly. Once upon a time, there was a hydraulic trim cap that the Jacuzzi had, but they're incredibly hard to find, and right now I just want to get this thing going. I'll play around with things later. Maybe I'll do an Energizer kit or something like that and get a little more snoot out of her. But anyways, I'm just going to get these 6 caps or 6 screws on this trim cap just kind of slightly snug down, and then I'm going to go through and tighten them all up again once I get everything kind of aligned correctly. I just want to make sure that they all thread in nicely here. So all right, so we're just going to go ahead and tighten these all. So I like to work myself from the center on out, kind of a alternating pattern. I don't know if there's a torque spec on these. I couldn't find anything online, so I'm just going to kind of get them tight like they were when I had it, and just check on them after I get in the water, make sure that they can't vibrate loose or anything like that. I'm not too worried about it, but like anything, you just never know. So now we're just going to have to go on the bottom side here and line up. There is a hole, let's see here. So this here actually has a hole drilled with threaded in it, but I have to align it whole, so I might have to rotate this one way or the other until I can line up that hole and get the bolt into that hole. So I'm gonna have to mess around with that a little bit, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, so I got the top trim cap on, everything's tightened down. I got that bottom pin and got the bolt all put in and everything lined up and cinched down. So now I need to hook up the steering and then also the linkage for, or the cable for the reverse bucket. This one I actually need some hardware for. There's a nut that's supposed to go on here and retain it, and then in here there's a clip that's supposed to go in there to prevent it from being able to push all the way through. And then I need whatever size thread. I'll have to look at that and whatnot for there, and then as well as get a nice stainless steel hex bolt for that, and because I refuse to use that rusty one there. So let's get that whatever's left of that bungee cord off of there and see if we can at least hook up the steering. All right, folks, so we got the nozzle all buttoned up, and I was gonna put the steering on, but I have a feeling that this is not correct and that there is supposed to be a clevis on this, and because looking at some other ones, just that doesn't look right. And then again, I need some hardware for this setup here for the reverse bucket, but progress is progress. So we'll catch you in the next episode.